systems, let's go straight forward dun sa pinaka gusto natin tutukan. Not only is it going to be tackled in the third person, we want to make it first person. Now, generation to generation. I remember at least dalawang concept ko. Yung isa, sabi niya sa akin, Pastor, napakaganda po ng binigay sa akin ng Panginoong unawa. Ano ba yan? Sabi niya, I have discovered na parang meron po kaming, ang word niya pagkaalipin sa aming family. Sabi ko, ano ba yun? Oh, from my great-grandfather, balita ko, yun daw, lasing ko. My grandfather was, inabutan ko siya, and he was also an alcoholic. My father is also one along with my uncles. Sabi niya, ako sa mga pinsan ko, we love to drink. Sabi niya, ayoko sana mapasa yan sa susunod na mga henerasyon. So I said, that's beautiful. Magandang konsepto yan. So probably the best thing for you to do, since ikaw yung nakakita ng ganyang klase ng vision for your family, and you have that burden to help your family, it starts with you. Ang pinakamaganda, hanap ka ng church o kaya ng institution where they can help you with their alcoholism, and also join an accountability group ng mga tao who are actually struggling with alcoholism para mag-improve ka din. Naman nakatingin sa akin, blankly. And he's probably thinking, why am I saying these things? Tapos sinabi niya sa akin after that, Pastor, bakit ako? Anong ibig mo sabihin? O sabi niya, ayoko madama yung mga pamangkin ko, ayoko madama yung apo ko, ayoko madama yung next generation. Pero huwag na lang kami. Alam mo kami, sanay na kami kuminom eh. Saka mauuhaw kami. Alam niyo naman, ang support namin ay go. Ano go? Go, go. Sabi ko, you want the next generation to really fix up their act, but you don't want to take the initiative to start the change. I don't think that will happen. Bakit? Because they will be looking at you. What you will be using as, reasoning. These particular younger generations will basically be copying. Kukunin nila yung pananaw. I remember, there was a 4-year-old daughter doon sa isang bahay na pinuntahan ko. And the funny thing was, this particular child was so exposed to TV. Ang paborito niyang sabihin, isang tagay sa tagumpay. I think she was able to catch yung commercial, simple lang, a few seconds, but she was able to get it. Now sabi ko, aside from the things that you will be saying, are the things that they will be seeing in your lives. If you're going to change, it has to start from you. Hindi ko na siya na-meet, but I think he did not like the idea. So there's a desire for the next generation to improve. There's the fear na baka maruin yung next generation. Sana may gawin ng Panginoon doon. Ipag-pray sila para okay sila. But not me. Excluded na ako dyan. Yun ang happen. The other one. Sabi niya, yung kanila namang issue was infidelity in their family. Sabi niya, Pastor, gusto ko sana yung mga susunod, huwag na kaming gayahin. Sabi ko, bakit? Lapitin kasi kami. So yung kanyang term, lapitin sila. Lapitin ang ano. So naive, I didn't realize. He was already telling me the problem of their family. His own, I think he's seeing me as a person he needs to confess to. Sabi niya, Pastor, ang hirap kasi. Kinakailangan huwag na nilang maranasan yan. Ang hirap, nandito ka sa pamilya mo, pupunta ka doon sa isa pang babae, tapos meron ka pang girlfriend. Sabi ko, isa pang babae, hanggang may girlfriend pa. Ingiti na lang siya. And then sabi niya, Sir, gusto ko mapigil na ito para yung next generation hindi na mapasama. Because I think my kids are going to suffer. Hindi ko na maalagaan yung ilan, yung dito sa legitimate wife ko. May anak pa ako dito, and I think yung sa girlfriend ko on the way na rin. Hindi pa siya sure. So, sabi ko sa kanya, pinakamainam, tigilan mo na. Again, there is this particular perspective na tulungan yung next generation, pero huwag daw siya. Sabi ko, ang unang yung kinakailangan putulin are the things that you talk about inside your home. Pag ako yung mga pinag-uusapan, lalo na pagkagaling ng inyong mga lalaki, that this is the way a macho man is actually supposed to live. So, kinakailangan, pag lumapit na sa'yo yung palay, ikaw yung manok, tukain mo na. So, walang mangyayari. It has to be seen by modeling, through modeling. Kailangan yan. Now, in Genesis, when you look at chapters 12 to 25, it speaks of the life of Abraham. Now, this person is considered in Genesis chapter 11 as the father of faith. Now, what's the beauty of the life of Abraham? There was a faithful God who showed himself to Abraham and led Abraham to act, and act in a very difficult situation, difficult way. Ang sinabi lang ng Panginoon sa kanya, I will bless you, I will bless those who will bless you, and I will curse those who will curse you. Now, how true is God to His Word? he had uprooted this guy from his family, took him away from his homeland, and he was to go to a place called Canaan and to follow the voice of his God that he just simply heard. Now, in History Channel's portrayal of the Bible, ang depiction pa nga kay Abraham is that for some reason, yung kanyang mga relatives, especially Lot's wife, they think he got crazy, that he was going to go somewhere because God was talking to him. So that was the rendition of History Channel. Pero isipin mo nga naman, how do you respond to a person who says that God is talking to him? Now, there has to be some proof. If indeed this God is true, if indeed this God is alive, then he has to be able to show concretely how he can work in my life. Now, you know, when God uses people in the Bible, he's using imperfect instruments. You know this, right? We just have this habit of making people look better. Meaning, gusto natin parang walang flow. Meaning, gusto natin sana tingnan ito walang problema. That's not the way to go. The Bible is a book that is honest. When it shows us the sins of the generations, it was quite truthful. It was saying to us all along, pinili naman ng Panginoon mga hindi naman perfectong tao. First problem of Abraham, lying. You know, when I was doing Bible study some years ago, we came across yung account ni Abraham na nung napunta siya dun sa Egypt. He was so afraid for his life that he told his wife, whenever somebody asks, "Who are you?" "You are my sister." So they would rather make themselves known as siblings rather than husband and wife. In fear na that the men of that particular place, since they were foreigners in that locality, would actually get his wife and kill him if that were the case. So if they, pagka nakilala na naman na sila ay magkapatid, bayaw, maganda treatment sa kanya. But then the truth is they were husband and wife. Yes, it is also a fact that the wife, they share the same father, different mothers, so step brothers and sisters sila. So, okay lang, yung kanilang relationship. But in order to save his skin, he made his wife lie. And he also lied. That to the Pharaoh's displeasure, it's a good thing that God was true to his word. He did not allow his wife Sarah to be touched by the Pharaoh. Now imagine, I'm thinking, eh ba nanonood ng Miss Universe? Do you follow beauty contests? Pagkatatapos lang ng, Miss World Bank, pagka-bata pa, gusto natin panoorin. Well, meron din daw Mrs. World. Kahit pa paano, gusto pa rin natin panoorin. Now, last week was Elderly Week in the Philippines. October 1 until 7. Kung halimbawa, Grandma Universe, would you still watch? Probably not. They're old. But when Abraham was called by God, he was 75 years old. The wife was 10 years his junior. So 65 siya. But how come the Pharaoh, the king of a country called Egypt, who was not lacking in earthly pleasures, especially women, since he had a harem, bakit siya magkakaroon ng desire to get this particular woman to become one of his wives or one of his concubines? Ganun ba talaga kaganda? That's the reason why when you read about it, even Bible scholars are in conflict. They don't understand that at this particular age, 65 years or plus, that a king would actually desire Sarah. Pero yun na nga, Abraham, he lied. Another, Sarah, at the very old age that she's at, she's saying it's quite impossible to have a child. So anong naging innovation niya? Sabi niya kay Abraham, since I'm not possibly going to have a child, here's my servant girl. Binigay niya si Hagar. And then when Abraham slept with the Hagar, idea ni Sarah, she conceived. Now the problem was when now Hagar was pregnant, there was insecurity in the life of Sarah. And ngayon, inaaway niya ng inaaway si Abraham, especially when the child was born. She felt left out because Abraham was quite happy that he now had a son, a successor, somebody who will get everything that he has if ever he so passes from this earth. And she was not happy. So gusto niya ngayon palayasin ni Abraham si Hagar at si Ishmael. And that's what happened. You know, the conflict between the Israelites and the lineage of Ishmael is born out of this particular innovation. Kung hindi ako magkaanak-asali dito. Why am I mentioning this? Later on you will discover along down the line, you will find out that this is an innovation that was copied by the next generation. Another lie that Abraham did was when he went to a place called Zerah. And there was a person, probably it's a title, probably a name of a king named Abimelech. And again, now I'm thinking, the wife was much older during this time. And again, he was telling his wife, if anybody asks who you are, then tell them that you are my sister and I am your brother. He was lying again. Yun nga, yung sa Bible study na nag-uusap kami, sabi ni Pastor, okay lang pala ang lying. Sabi, wala nakalagay dyan na okay ang lying. Sinasabi lang that Abraham, despite the fact that he was a man of faith, he also had limitations, he also had flaws. That when he was insecure in the situation that he was at, he also lied. But there's not such thing as overcoding in sin. Bakit? Sometimes you will encounter people thinking that a white lie and a black lie are two different things. Ang black lie daw, yan yung mga seryoso, mga pagsisinungaling. Ang white lie daw, yung konti lang. Ito tipong pag may kumakatok sa bahay ninyo, tapos sasabihin ng nanay mo, anak, sabihin mo dun sa tao. Yan yung Mumbai na malinigil ng utang eh. Wala ako. Kaya yung bata pupunta doon, wala na po nanay ko. White lie lang yung pastor. Did you get the point? Now in this case, it was not justifiable. Though the lie was acceptable. But it was actually something that was done by Abraham. Now, bago tayo mag-jump kay Isaac, tingnan muna natin how God was so good. At first, we were thinking that it was a hopeless case. God is saying that I will bless you, I'll bless those who bless you, I'll curse those who will curse you. True enough. With this encounter with different people, with this moving forward, going to Canaan, the Lord has enriched his life. But how do you make this guy a mighty nation when he does not have a child coming from the wife that was supposed to be where the son would come out, the covenant son would come out? The most that they can do was open the basket. Siya, si Sarah at si Lot. Saan pupunta yung inheritance? No son. But at the age of 100, Sarah at the age of 90, nanganak siya. And that's how God was good to them. Now imagine this. Abraham was called by God at the age of 75 and he died at the age of 175. How many years did the Lord show his faithfulness, his grace, goodness to Abraham? 100 years. It was a story not of a perfect person. It was not a story of a great man. It was the story of a great, loving God. Now let's jump to Isaac. In Genesis chapter 26, you'll find there a chapter dedicated to Isaac. Now, when we talk about generational sins, yun nga kinakailangan din i-break. Kasi makikita ninyo pagtalon here again is the person named Abimelech. Try to research it since I'm thinking, if this guy were the same Abimelech that Abraham saw, sobrang tanda na nito, pero medyo interested pa rin sa wife ni Isaac, si Rebecca. And when you look at how he actually saved his own skin, Isaac used the system of his father. And do you know what he had his wife say? Tell the people of this land that I am your brother. Well, at least kay Abraham and kay Sarah, they were half brothers and half sisters. Pero ito naman, hindi naman sila magkapatid. Magpinsan sila. And that's the fact. But then he was trying to save his skin and he was making his wife lie. And now when Abimelech discovered this, since God talked to him, he was telling this particular man, why did you do this? You could have placed upon us the curse of the Almighty. And it was something that he did not appreciate. But coming from another person who was supposed to receive the blessing of God, another incidence of lying. Get the point? Now, let's go to the dysfunction of the family. Let's jump. Let's go now to the two sons of Isaac and Rebekah. We talk about Jacob and Esau. You read about the story and what do you find? A dysfunctional family. They say usually, there's a family conflict. When there are three things that are affected in your relationship, in your nuclear setting. Number one, significance. Pag hindi ka nabibigyan ng value, hindi ka kinikilala sa role sa inyong family, you panic. You don't like the situation. Since this is your family, you're supposed to belong, but if you don't have significance, affected ka. Affiliation. Kaya nga, may mga tinatawag tayong sibling rivalry. There are people who feel that they are more loved, and there are people who feel that they are less loved. You understand the concept of the middle child complex? Middle child ba kayo? But it happens. So sabi nila, ilang panganay, sino panganay sa inyo? Mga panganay ng mga reklamo na sa mga magulang nila, ay ganito. Kaya naman hindi ko na-enjoy childhood ko, na ako binigay na responsibilidad sa akin. Sino sa inyo ang bulso? Nanay, college na po ako, sa bibis na ako mati, nagmamagaano ng ministry na ako, yun akong pulbuhan. Sa kagalit na galit siya sa kanilang mga simbol na dami. I was talking to this person. Sabi niya sa akin, I hated my childhood photos. Actually, Pastor Banzuelo. Sabi ko, bakit? Because in my childhood photos, lahat ng suot ko, butterflies, design, flowers. Oh, bakit na naman masama nun? Eh, lalaki ako. Damit lang ng mga ate niya, since yung mga naon sa kanya, puro babae, yung lahat sinusunod siya, ginagawa siya manika. So, yan naman ang problema niya. Middle shot naman. You're looking for a way to get attention, since probably it's the firstborn or the youngest born na nakakuha niya. So, it's either you give your best so that you get the attention that you need, or you do something unusual para lang makakuha ka rin ng attention. Am I right? Ito yung mga nangyayari. But look at this. The problem in this family is that Esau was the favorite of his dad, Isaac. Jacob was the favorite of the mom, right? And what happened? Now, there was connivance. Yes, we can say that Esau probably did not have a superior judgment, especially during the time that he was so hungry, that he had to exchange his birthright as firstborn for a stew of soup. A bowl of stew. Now, yun lang yung kanyang pinagpalit. Probably, gutom na gutom ka na. They're not thinking straight. But, you know what? Jacob was able to get the blessing of his dad with the help of the mom by tricking the father who was already blind. Now, imagine if you're watching this in a telenovela, gigil na gigil ka dun sa mga nagkampihan para lukuhin yung bulan. I mean, you already have a person who was disabled, old age, a father at that of your family, and here's the mom telling his son, well, we have to get the blessing from your father. And then, how do we do that? I don't have much hair on my arms. I'm not a hairy person, unlike my brother Esau. Sabi niya, ako gagawa ng paraan. God will be mad at us. Don't worry, I will take the consequences of these actions for myself. Basta gawin natin ito. And true enough, their particular plan of confusing, of deceiving si Isaac worked, and the blessing was given to Jacob. Sabi naman sa akin isang estudyante ko dati sa ethics, sabi okay lang pala yan, yung kahit manipula mo yung situation to get the advantage kasi dito nga meron. Sabi ko, this is not the picture of what to do. God is showing us the consequences of our wrong actions. Never say na yung mga ginawa nitong mga tao ito is the right system, because God is showing these things to us to correct our ethical standards so that we will realize and we will understand it's not going to go well. What happened? In the end, Sarah was actually very sad. The firstborn Esau was now rebelling. He was marrying women that were against their will. Ayaw nila yung mga choices niya for wives. Di lang niya kumuha ng isa, kumuha ng pangalawa. He was totally rebelling against the parents. Now what happened to Jacob? Since the brother Esau was so infuriated that he got tricked, he wanted to kill his brother Jacob. And so Jacob had to be sent away to go to Laban. And you know what? Here is a picture of the consequences of the sins of this generation. Isaac and Rebekah. Now, let's go to Jacob. Now, since Jacob went to that particular place where his uncle was at, si Laban, he found a beautiful woman, Rachel. Gusto niya. Now, ano sabi ng kataga sa Pilipino? Tusuman daw ang pansin na paglalanakan niya. Now, what happened? When he went there, so he wanted to work to get Rachel to be his wife. But Laban had something else in mind. Sabi ko nga, wala bang kandilan mo? Di ba may mga lamp naman sila? This is the reason why I'm thinking like this. I'm doing a Bible study with a group. Every week we have a chapter of the Bible. And we're now at Genesis chapter 31. We did that last night. And sabi ng isa doon, Pastor, wala akong ilaw naman lang dati. Sabi ko, bakit? Now, he worked 7 years for Rachel During the wedding day, binigay daw sa kanya. During the wedding night, they were together. Then he woke up the following day, nagulat siya, ang kasama niya was Leah. Hindi man lang malatingin ako ano mukha. You have a very good observation. Ngayon pa lang napansin na gano'n. Oo nga naman. Patinitingnan mo na. Wala pang way to know whether this is the one or the other. Now, I was reading one article. I don't know if it was being written in jest by an author, pero sabi niya, during kasi the old days, most of the time you would put a heavy freight on the head of the wife of the woman. Pasalamat na tayo ngayon dahil ang mga kasal natin, the veils, manipis. At tiyak naman, yung papakasalan mo, malamang sa inyo, ikaw ang pumili. Tama ba? I attended a wedding. The wedding coordinator made the mistake of making us go in front. Wala pa pala yung bride, she thought that the car that arrived, because it's white, yun na yung wedding car, yung bridal car. So what was that was that all of us, yung mga participants ng entourage, pinapunta na kami. Only to discover it was not the bride, and we were made to stand there for an hour before the bride arrived. So, sabi ng isang inis na, medyo matanda na pagod na. Thank you. Dapat kilalanin ng mga sponsor. Wilkins, viewer. Pero sabi niya, Pastor, yung bride na yan, I think the gown is about 150 to 200,000 pesos. Bakit gano'n? Sobrang haba ng buntot. Tapos ang ising naman mo nandito, kung di spaghetti strap, soup. Sabi ko pa nga, soupless ko ba? Hindi soupless ko lang yun. Sabi niya, why is it like that? I don't understand. Ito nga naman. Why is it like that? You pay so much for the gown. Ang haba ng buntot, ang iksi dito. It's not practical. And then, gano'n pa, Pastor, nag-veil pa. Kita naman natin kung ano yung sulat. Ba't pa nag-veil? Wala kang maisip. Sabi ko, since expose po yung mga balikat, yung likod, at yung ibang parts ng body, siguro para po hindi ka gatinang lang mo. Anti-dengue po yan. Umiti na lang siya and day. Because we were so tired standing up for an hour, we just talked about these things. But back then, if it was a heavy brick that was placed on your head, probably as thick as that particular flag there, hindi mo makita. Pero siguro naman tinatanggal naman kahit pa paano. Di ba kaya nasabi nila some cultures in the Middle East, the parents are the ones who will be choosing a bride for their son. So once you pronounce husband and wife, that's the only time that you will actually unwrap the gift. You will be raising up the veil and you will discover the woman behind the veil that your parents chose for you. Pagka nagustuhan mo yung nasa likod, natatakpan ng veil, praise the Lord. Pero pagbukas mo ganyan, isipin mo na, hindi mo nagkasal. Panginoon, dahil bakit naman ganito? Why? Imagine this. But I'm thinking, Jacob, sleeping with Leah, not knowing about it at the morning, during the morning. Oh, sino ka? Si Leah. Ako kasama ko kagabi. Ikaw? Isip ko, namang kanila. Nakita mo man lang yung itsura. But that's it. He was strict. Now what happened? Next time around, he worked for another 7 years, and then he was given Rachel. Pero, do you know that there's an interesting chapter in the Bible? I was asked one time, paano po dumami yung anak ni Jacob? Good question. I want you to open your Bibles. I'll be reading it in Filipino. It's best read in Filipino. Paano dumami yung mga anak ni Jacob? Basahin niyo. I'll be reading it to you so that at least may passage kasi kailangan na bumabasa ng verse para sabi dito, Genesis 13. Nailit si Raquel sa kanyang kapatid sapagkat hindi siya magkaanak. Sinabi niya kay Jacob, mamamatay ako kapag hindi na tayo nagkaanak. Nagalit si Jacob at sinabi kay Raquel, bakit? Diyos ba ako na pumipigil sa iyong panganak? Ito naman. This is the innovation. Now I mentioned earlier, meron generational sins. Listen to this. Kaya sinabi ni Raquel, kung gayon, sipingin mo ang alipin kong si Bilha upang magkaanak ako sa pamamagitan niya. At pinasipin niya kay ako ang kanyang alipin si Bilha, nagdalang tawag ito at nanganak ng lalaki. Panig sa akin ang akal ng Diyos, sabi ni Raquel. Dinidig niya ang aking dalangin at pinagkalooban ako ng anak na lalaki. Kaya Dan ang pinangalan niya dito. Muling nagdalang tao si Bilha at nanganak ng isa pang lalaki. Sinabi ni Raquel, naging mahigpit ang labanan namin magkapatid. Ngunit ako ang nagtagumpay. Kaya tinawag niya Nephtali ang bata. Nang mapag-isip-isip ni Leah na hindi na siya mga anak,
Ibinigay naman niya kay Jacob si Silpa at nagkaanak ito ng lalaki. Mapalad ako, sabi nila yan. Kaya God ang papangalan mo sa kanya. Si Zilpa ay muling nagdalang tao at nanganak ng isa pang lalaki. Sinabi nila niya, masayang-masaya ako. Masaya itatawag sa akin ng mga babae, kaya tinawag niya Asher ang bata. Anihan na noon ang trigo. Samantalang naglalakad sa kaparangan, si Ruben ay nakakita ng bunga ng mandragora at dinala niya ito kay Leah na kanyang ina. Bigyan mo naman ako ng mandragorang dala ng iyong anak. Pakiusap niya Raquel kay Leah. Sinagot siya ni Leah, hindi ka pa nasisiyang nakuha mo ang aking asawa at may gusto mong kunin pati mandragora ng aking anak. Sinabi ni Raquel, bigyan mo ako ng mandragora. Sa'yo na si Jacob ngayong gabi. Gabi na nang dumating noon si Jacob galing sa kaparangan. Sinalubong agad siya ni Leah at sinabi, sa aking kasisipin ngayong gabi. Si Raquel ay binigyan ko ng mandragorang dala ng aking anak para sa karapatang ito. At nagsipi nga sila ng gabi niyo. Imagine, paano dumami? Sibling rivalry. Noong una, Leah was always saying, my husband will love me more. In the previous chapter, anak siya na anak ng lalaki. When he was not getting the affection of Jacob, this time, si Raquel naman was making her move. Hindi ako magkaanak, ito alipin ko. Also, anak na anak sa alipin. May sabi niya, hindi na ako mga anak. Sabi naman nila, ito ang alipin ko. Imagine kung gano'n nakapagod si Jacob. Kaya dumami ng lahi ng mga Israelites. Now, you see the pattern. Same pattern. And this time he wanted to leave his father-in-law. Ayaw siyang payagan. He was made to work. Sabi nga niya, 20 taon na ako nandito sa iyo at naglilingkod. But 10 times, ibinabago mo yung ating mga usapan. So yung manloloko, naloko rin. And you know what? Down the line, from sibling rivalry, mas lalo naging intense. And what happened? The ending of the book of Genesis is the life of Joseph. And you know what the brothers planned when he was saying the vision that the Lord has given to him. And what was he saying? I saw the sun, the moon, the 11 stars bowing down to me. I also saw sheaves of wheat that yours were bowing down to mine. Siyempre, he was probably about 17 years old during that time. And he was quite young. The way he said it probably was offensive to his brothers who were older than him. And what did they plan on doing? They planned on killing him. But one intervened and said, "Huwag na natin patayin. Let's just throw him in a well and tell our father that he was slain by wild animals, so they drenched his coat in blood." So yun. And then he was sold as a slave. Now, what am I driving at? Generational sins. We're at our 70th year as an institution. I'm 46 years old. More than half of my life, I was here. I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to say it straight. It's not third person, it's first person. We have to change our ways. I'll tell you about 3 things that we need to change. Number 1, ano ba dapat natin palitan? Yung pang-insulto ng mga nagsasalita dito sa harapan. I know you're being trained, you're being educated, but you know why a lot of us don't like to stand in front of this pulpit? It's because every time you stand, you see the ridicule of your peers, your colleagues. Di natatapos siya pagdating sa Lord, insultuin ba natin? It happened in our generation, it happened in the previous generations, it's still happening now. You stop that. You encourage one another and help each other so that you will be better servants of God, and that will be a great breakthrough. You get this point? Second, I do pray that your generation will have a different take on things. Ours, we were not so good. I remember one year when we were here, I think it's the first or second year of alumni gathering since we graduated. Sabi ko nga, nandaig na kami ng Nokia. Why? Because the alumni gathering became a venue for bragging rights. We were talking about our cell phones. Who has the better cell phone? Who has the more expensive cell phone? Who's having had much salary from a church? Who's from a mega church? Who's from a progressive church? And you know what happened? There were those who were discriminated who didn't want to join the groups anymore because they felt left out. They don't have cell phones. They came from provinces. They didn't have good salaries, and yet they were serving. They felt left out. That was the sin of our generation. Huwag kayong babalik dito for the very reason of bragging to each other once you graduate. You come here to bless each other by sharing what the Lord has actually done. how you're serving faithfully the Lord, because that too is part of the heritage of this institution. Since I was young, I heard alumni, they come to our house, sharing their struggles, sharing their victories, sharing their testimonies. They're talking about it from mid-afternoon up till the following day. I hear them talking with my father, with my mom, and I'm hearing things that bless me, challenge me, and encourage me. That's why I too made the decision to serve and follow God. But this marker, not so good. So that's the second thing I would like to ask from you. When it's your time, never come back here to brag about things. Come here with the intention of blessing your peers. Is that okay? Make it first person. Let's talk about it. And what is the third problem? You know, we have this social media site. We call it Previous Alumni Diaspora. And here we have discovered we're not really mature. And we're not even godly. I'm going to speak of this because I was also in the center of this. And it was a bad experience for me. And I also wanted to retaliate. At some point I did. And you know what? It's never good. Bigyan ko kayo ng mga sample. During that time, our family was placed on the spot. And everyone, I think everyone who had a grudge came in there and they were bashing us without realizing some of us were being sent these screenshots of those particular exchanges. Yung isang kapatid ko naman, meron siya, sabi niya, kuya, ito ang ginagawa sa atin. Now, I tried to, you do detective work, and I got to the point where I discovered who the people were. And they only have one motto: if we cannot control you, we're going to destroy you. Ang dami mga sinabi doon. Let me give you a picture of how bad it was. In one breakfast meeting, and these were my seniors. People you see standing up here, and when I was younger, I was admiring them when they were talking. After that breakfast meeting, you know what they did to me? I was trying to shake their hands since I was appreciating that particular exchange that we had during that breakfast meeting. Paglapit sa akin ng isa, galing sa banyo, wala nang pamunas, pinunas sa barong ko. Ay, sumunod yung isa, pinunas din sa barong ko. Sabi, kawanan sila. Sabi ko, siguro hindi lang ako nakuloy. Yung mga Hapon, nagbabaw, pagka nagbibigay ng respect. Ang mga Amerikano, nagkakamayan. Bakit na yung bagong baking ng Pilipino, magandang umaga sa iyo at sa iyo rin. But it was really so I was telling my father, ito yung mga tao kung nagtag-testimony in front of people, they are saying that you help them. Why are they treating me this way? I cannot understand. And you know, my dad is always objective. Sabi niya, kailangan mo mag-mature. Mag-mature. Eh, gusto mo ang bumanti. Ba't ka mag-mature? Nananahimik ka, tinatrato mo ng maayos, and then I'm being given this. Another. Merong isa naman, naglagay doon sa fan na yun. Ano sabi? Si Jay ay may funding. Funding? Anong funding? Sabi niya, kung may funding ba ako? Sabi niya, ako na, sasunod. Sabi niya, funding, walang funding. Sabi niya, lagi meron kami solo ng asawa ko. Ngayon, kung gusto mo, sige mo. You know? Sabi niya sa akin, kasi sabi ng Panginoon sa akin, sabihin ko lahat ito. Sabi ko, sige, hintayin mo. Pag sinabi rin ng Panginoon sa akin, sabihin ko naman baho mo, baka ikaw naman ang hindi masiyahan. Ay, sorry daw. Sorry. Nilaglag mo ko nun eh. Tapos, sorry. You see that when you are bitter, when you're angry, you retaliate in kind. Bakit mo ko gaganyanin na? Hindi ko, ikaw tinitira nila. Bakit bigla ako nilaglag mo? Gusto mong i-project sa akin yung depresya mo. Sabi ko, humano pa rin ebidensya dahil na nilibelo. Ngayon, this is one thing I want you to remember. Never use the name of God. Ano nga tawag natin sa mga seniors dito? What do we call that on definitions? Sabi ko sa inyo, gagawin ko kayo illustration. We call that a fallacy of equivocation. When you fool around or you play around with words, say, oh, word ni God. Pag iba na nagsalita, hindi yan, kasi numalingan yan. And you don't have evidence, and what you're saying is actually a lie. And this is what God wants you to do, to lie. And you're making me think this way, may mali. You don't use the name of God. God told me, paano kung may sinabi sa akin ng Panginoon? It was only my emotions and my crooked way of thinking to say these things to you, but to others. Sabi ko nga, mabait lang ang Diyos. Because that very year, I was able to get to 3 groups, and they're talking about this particular person and the sickness. And I told them, huwag na natin pag-usapan. Kung chismis lang ang pag-uusapan natin dito, hindi tayo mag-usapan. Eh sinisiraan ka, okay lang. I stand alone. I don't need help, but I don't need this. Kung ginawa niya ng mali, ayaw akong gawin. Hindi dahil mabait ako. Dahil sabi ng tatay ko, huwag daw ako bumante. Respeto na lang sa akin. Okay, isa pa. Yung isa, ano naman sabi niya? Marami kasi. Actually, it's 2 folders full of things that we printed that were sent to us. Daming mga bagay na sinabi, daming mga bagay na pagkakila. Sabi nung isa, kasi perception yan. Kung ano sasabihin namin, marami kami, talo kayo. Pwede pinisita ko sa bahay. You know, when you take pagka tinitime yung pagkapikong ko, I'm not good, you don't have to threaten me. I'm going to make serious threat. Pinuntahan ko sa bahay. O sabi ko, ngayon, papasukin mo ko dyan. Saan tayo mag-usap? Para kung gusto mo sigawan mo, sisigawan din kita. Ngayon sabihin mo, bago ko sa harapan ng anak mo, sasabihin ko, dinis para mo magpera. Huwag ganun. Hindi Christian yan. Nakalagay sa Bible, hindi tayo ganyan. Hindi pala Christian, ginawa mo sa amin. You see the point? Now they tell us, forgive. Ginaninan nyo kami, nananahimik kami, forgive. But then my father was up. If there was a voice of truth and there was a voice of calmness during that time, I believe it was my father. Sabi niya, ang pinakatinira ako, nadami na kayo. You were collateral damage to them. But I don't want you to retaliate. Di man ako nagpapasa ng mga ganyan. Hindi ako nagagamit na. Typewriter pa rin ako ang gamit. Hanggang. Sabi ko na nakakagalit hawak ko na yung mga bagay-bagay. Pinansin. I don't ask for information. People come to me with information. Yung isa ay kakasal, just a few months back. Ang lumapit sa akin ng pamilya, what's your opinion on this? Sabi ko, romance yan. Meron akong pwedeng sabihin, pero kung hindi romance yan, sasabihin ko sa'yo lahat ng baho niya. But that's not me. Isa naman lumapit. Yung humihingi ng funding sa ano po niya sa ministry niya. Sabi ko, bigyan mo akong ministry. Okay ba siyang tao? Huwag mo na akong tanong, yung ministry niya. Bakit po? Kasi baka may masabi ako hindi maganda, hindi niyo tulungan. But the people whom they will be serving will suffer. Sabi ko, that's it. Yung isa naman, sira-sira na yung kanyang kalagayan. And my dad was right. He's saying, sabi niya, pag sinira mo sarili mo sa huli sira-sira lahat. And what will be the way, or how can we come together again as a community? We need to follow the practices that God has taught us. We need to follow the practices God has taught us. These were the people who were above me. They were people who were supposed to be teaching me these things. Since I was young, they kept telling me, ikaw hindi ka makakatapos dito, sisirahan mo ng ministeryo ng tatay mo. Sa likod ng chapel, during alumni day, lumapit sa akin yung isa, sabi sa akin, akala ko hindi ka makakatapos dito. Didiretsa ko na siya, matanda na ako ngayon. Sabi ko sa kanya, yun ang bato na hindi ka propeta, huwag ka maingay. Eh, hindi naman talaga siya propeta. Kung ano, di dapat hindi ko nakatapos. Kung tama yung prediction niya. You see where it's coming from. And, it gets people in trouble. Sabi ko nga, pag pinatulan natin yung masasama ang mapapagpapit. The Bible was correct. The Bible, the teachings of Christ are right. You have to submit to it. It's hard, but we have to. And what has been said in Scripture needs to be followed. We forgot. Our generation forgot. Na pag may haharapin kang tao, if you're going to put blame or make an accusation, you bring a person with you para maging witness mo. Confront mo yung tao, hindi mo lalaman sa ganyan. I sent a screenshot to one of my friends who was asking me about Phibias. Sabi ko, ayan. Sabi niya, ano bang klaseng institution ka? I thought you were pastors. I also thought too. Sabi niya, kayo dapat na mataas na pinagtitingnan ng mga tao dahil kayo ay religious institution. You're actually developing workers. Sabi ko, yung pinangakala ko eh. Ganyan lang pala kayo. Sabi ko, ganyan kami. But I want you to see what they're saying about me. I'm not scared. Sabi niya, I've known for a long time. This is not true. Sabi ko, but that's their opinion. Sabi nga nila, this is their perception. What am I trying to tell you now? Break that particular bond from your life. Don't allow yourselves to be chained by these things. Don't allow yourselves to be embittered. Do it the Bible's way. Do it the Christian way. We were not mature enough to do it that way. We were not Christian enough to live what we have been preaching. And That's what we call the dark ages of this institution. Praise God! 70 years. Now we can focus again on what God can do. We can go back again from the filtration process. It was a hard lesson, but it was a filtration process. Kinakailangan mo-weed out ng mga bagay-bagay. And now we can focus again on how the Lord is working. Because the same God has said to Abraham, I will bless you. I will bless those who will bless you, and I will curse those who will curse you. Has fulfilled it in the lineage of Abraham. Tanungan natin, bakit ganun? They are imperfect people, so much dysfunction, so much problems. You know why? Because it's not a story about men and women. It was a story about a faithful God. The same faithful God who keeps us strong. The same faithful God who will continue on His blessing to the next generation. So I do pray your generation will be with you. God bless you.